And so we're going to get started. So good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Galbinski, and I'm the Dean here at the Oakland Schools Technical Campus Northeast. And we are so excited that you've taken the opportunity to join us for our virtual cosmetology information night. So we thank you for taking some time to be with us. I know we've got lots of students, lots of parents that have joined us in this virtual environment. And we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to learn a lot of information, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So I want to start off with saying, well, what is career and technical education? Well, it's combining strong academic knowledge with strong technical skills. And we always talk about that combination definitely gives students a competitive advantage in the future. So we at the campus are an extension of your high school, and we prepare you for high demand, high skill, high wage careers. And particularly, we're going to talk about those opportunities within cosmetology. We always like to talk about winning combinations. And our OSTC winning combination is the academics that you're learning at your respective high school, the technical skills that you are adding with those academics, career and technical education skills. That is going to give you students a competitive advantage as you move through the program and then move out to your post-secondary learning and into your career. I just kind of want to give a lay of the land here. Oakland County has 4 technical campuses. And the campus that we're coming to you from virtually is the Northeast campus, which is located in Pontiac. There's a campus in Clarkston, which is our Northwest campus, a campus in Royal Oak, which is our Southeast campus, and a campus in Wixom, which is our Southwest campus. Now, the technical campuses are designed to deliver regional career and technical education. This particular program that you're joining with us for tonight, a cosmetology program, services all the districts in Oakland County. So all the 28 school districts, public, charter, PSA academies. At the technical campus at Northeast in Pontiac, that houses our cosmetology program. And so when we look at the opportunities for you here, Mr. Maddock now is going to explain what are all the programs that we have, and then tonight we're going to be highlighting our cosmetology program. Mr. Maddock, take it away.
Yeah, hi everyone. I recognize some student names that have joined us in previous weeks. This is the 4th Thursday in a row that Mr. Galbinski and I have been coming to you, delivering these virtual information nights. And obviously, you're here to learn about cosmetology tonight, but maybe you've got a sibling, a cousin, a friend that might not be interested in cosmetology. So we want to just let you know of the other programs that are available to students at the Northeast campus. So we have automotive technology, collision repair and refinishing, computer programming, construction technology, cosmetology, obviously, which is why you're all here tonight, culinary arts and hospitality, cybersecurity, networking, engineering, robotics and mechatronics, entrepreneurship, advanced marketing, health sciences, machining, and welding. So those are the 12 programs that are available at the Northeast campus. Again, that's the campus in Pontiac. And like Mr. Galbinski mentioned, we're the only campus in the county that has cosmetology. So if you would normally attend one of those other campuses across the county, they will have similar, but each campus might have a program or two that is a little bit different. So like I said, we have been here the last 4 weeks. We are going to take next Thursday off, though. By this time, we'll probably be asleep on our couches from the tryptophan from the turkey. But we will come back the following Thursday, December 3rd. We'll highlight construction, machining, and welding. And I am going to take a guess that none of you would be interested in those programs because cosmetology and those programs are total opposite ends of the spectrum. And then the following week, December 10th, will be our highlighting culinary arts and hospitality and our Entrepreneurship Advanced Marketing program. So again, you might have a sibling, a cousin, a friend that might be interested in one of those. But tonight, we know that you're all here to learn about the cosmetology program. That is one of our former students from a couple years ago, one of our cosmetology competitions. But before we get to that, I'll throw it back to Mr. Galbinski.
Thank you, Mr. Maddock. So one of the things we want to always start out with is our cosmetology career tree. And I want to focus on the roots. So you take a look at the root of the tree, academics. We talked about that earlier. Got to have solid academics for that competitive advantage. Experiences. You know, have all kinds of experiences that you're going to have an opportunity to explore while at the campus in the cosmetology program. And professional skills. A lot of the parents that are with us tonight, some people will identify those as soft skills, professional skills, career-ready skills. Those are the ones where we are able to be flexible, adaptable, be a team player, have good communication, be collaborative. And we work on all of those to give a good solid root system. The one thing that I always like to emphasize there is the last one, passion. You've got to be passionate about your career, whatever that may be. And tonight we're going to be taking a look at cosmetology. So when you look at this, you'll see entry-level careers. So what can you do right outside of the program as soon as you finish? You could be a salon receptionist, you could be a salon assistant, right? How do you get to the next level of technical careers? Well, for those of you that are gamers out there, you like to play video games, to unlock that next level, it just takes further education or further certification. So you can see, you can become a cosmetologist, a nail care specialist, a skin care specialist, an entrepreneur, a salon owner, a salon manager. So those are things that you're able to do once you have your cosmetology license that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. And then you have the next level. How do you unlock that? Again, further education, further credentialing, professional careers. You could be an author, an editor, a publisher. You could be a certified teacher. You're going to hear from our staff tonight. You could be an educational consultant, a product design consultant, a director, an engineer. There is lots and lots of things you can do. And this is just a small sampling of the career tree and opportunities that you have once you come through the cosmetology program. But it gives a very nice picture of what those wonderful opportunities are when you start looking at your career and your lifestyle. We've got a great staff of cosmetologists, instructors as well. And so I'm going to introduce at this time Mrs. Bielecki, and each instructor is just going to give a very brief background of their skills and share a little bit about their knowledge and their work in this field of cosmetology. And so we'll have each of the instructors go ahead and introduce themselves to you. So I'll start off with Mrs. Bielecki.
I am Sabina Bielecki, aka Miss B, and I love cosmetology. It's my passion. I owned my own salon for 10 years. I also previously worked at a private school, and I've been at OTEC for about 10 years now. Nice to meet you guys, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Mrs. Bielecki. Next up will be Miss Heath.
Hi, my name's Miss Heath, aka Miss Heath. I have been a teacher at Oakland schools for 15 years now. I think this is my 15th or 16th year. I've been a cosmetologist for 41 years. Worked at salons, and the last salons I worked at were in Rochester, Michigan. I was a manager there, and I love my job.
Well, thank you, Miss Heath. Now we'll move along to Mrs. Lockett.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Antoinette Lockett. I'm a cos instructor for OS. I've been with OS for 5 years. Prior to coming to Oakland schools, I was a cosmetologist and independent stylist. And I had my own studio for about 10 years. I love working with students and sharing the knowledge, the skills, the techniques. I just love doing what I do. So I'm waiting patiently, and I'm excited that you're here tonight to come on board. We'll see you next September.
Thank you, Mrs. Lockett. Ms. Tomczak had another meeting that she was attending tonight, but she is also one of our instructors. And then I'd like to introduce Ms. Pierce.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Pierce. I am actually new to the team. I've subbed for OS for a couple of years. Prior to coming to OS, I've worked in private schools with students from 18 to 54. Now I'm right in where I would love to be because I was a vocational student. And I'm still working in the salon. I'm still a cosmetologist for life. And I'm a platform, well, I was, let me say that, international platform artist for many years. And this is my love. And I cannot wait to see you. And please come on and join us.
Thank you, Ms. Pierce. Appreciate it. So that's our cosmetology staff. So I thank all of them for introducing themselves. And you'll get a chance a little later tonight. We have a Q&A at the end here where we'll be able to ask some questions. So we want to talk about the cosmetology program. When we talk to our students about light at the end of the tunnel, well, we know it's a 1,500-hour program. So in order for you to become a licensed cosmetologist in the state of Michigan, you have to have training, both theory and practical, that are equivalent to 1,500 hours. And here's what you get to do as you're working along those 1,500 hours. Work alongside professionals. You just met them all in a full-service interactive salon and spa. Yes, we have our own salon at the campus. You're going to be able to use advanced salon techniques, and that covers a wide range of both hair, nails, and skin services. And you get to be artistic and using your creativity along with the latest technology and trends and brand name products. So that's what you'll be working to and working with toward that 1,500 hours, which we always talk about the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to turn it over now to Ms. Heath, and she's going to talk some specifics, what makes up our 1,500 hours.
Hair, skin, and nails. So we're going to break it down further in the next slide. But in order for you to be able to sit for your state board exam, you have to complete 1,500 hours in all three of these areas. That's what the state of Michigan requires you to sit for. So hair, you're going to be spending about 980 hours working on hair, about 115 hours working on skincare, and then about 90 hours working on nails. So I really want to stress right here that if your desire is to be a makeup artist, this is not the place to go because we spend most of our time with hair. If you get your 1,500 hours and go sit for your state board exam and pass it, then you will be licensed in the state of Michigan you'll be a certified cosmetologist, which means that you can practice all three of these areas. You could be an esthetician, a nail tech, or a stylist. When you're studying hair, you're going to be doing things, working on natural hair cultivation, hair cutting, curling, pressing. For skincare, you're going to be working on skin analysis, facials, makeup, and then nails, you'll be working on manicuring, acrylics, hand and arm massage. But altogether, it'll be about 1,500 hours. There's a lot of repetition here. This 1,500 hours, it's a lot of hours, but it's very rewarding in the end. We also focus on sanitation. We start you out with sanitation, usually in the summer, and then we cover chemistry and electricity, anatomy, and business concepts will be covered in your senior year.
So the cosmetology program in the 1,500 hours. So how is this broken down? This is what it looks like. So I know we probably have some 8th graders, 9th graders, 10th graders with us this evening, maybe even an 11th grader and parents. So this is how this would work. If you are a current 10th grader, because our programs are set up to service juniors and seniors at the campus. So if you're currently a 10th grader, the summer before your junior year, you would do 16 days of summer school, 7 hours a day, which would earn you 112 hours towards your 1,500. Pretty good chunk of hours taken care of in that first summer before your junior year. Then you come on campus as a junior, and traditional 2.5-hour session, which is now going to accumulate 457.5 hours. And most of our first year students, right, as a junior, you would be in our AM session, where you would be on campus from 7:45 until 10:15. We do have some districts, and Mr. Maddock will talk about that a little bit later, where we have a session for first year students that runs in our PM session from 11:20 to 1:50. But regardless of the session that you're in, you'll do 2.5 hours, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, during the school year. Now we fast forward to the summer between your junior and senior year. Then again, you would do another 16 days, 112 hours towards your 1,500-hour goal the summer before your senior year. Now, fast forward to your senior year in high school. All of you that continue in the program and progress as a senior, you would attend our PM session, which is from 11:20 to 1:50. That's where you would be able to earn 457.5 hours. And then we also have an extended day session that runs from 1:50 to 4:20. And that's where you'd be able to earn another 432.5 hours. Now, a little bit of note there. You must attend until 4:20 daily in order to meet the 1,500-hour requirement. So that senior year, you just need to envision you'll come on campus, start class at 11:20, and then you'll go straight through until 4:20. Now, during that time, you'll be doing variety of different activities. We mentioned we have a salon. You'll be working on the salon floor. You'll be working with clients. And so those are how those days would work. So you take a look at your total hours available through this chart that we have here, 1,571.5 hours, okay? So that 71.5 hours that you're looking at, we're gonna now talk about how does this work. Now, this may be a little difficult for you to see, but you'll get an idea, and this is something we can email out to you. Again, we asked all of you to complete the Google Doc. But what you can see here is just a sample of how things would work. So if you can look at, you're coming in your junior year, the summer of 2021, you'll see monthly hours possible, 112. Monthly hours earned, oh, you can see that we must have missed something here because we only earned 105. And then you can see as you go through what the rest of the months look like. And again, it's just a sample. Here's what I want to reiterate to you. Remember, it takes 1,500 hours to complete this program. You have a wiggle room or a bank, if you will, of 71.5 hours, okay? They need to be utilized for any kind of absence that you have during the summer of 2021, during the 21-22 school year while you're with us as a junior, also the summer of 2022, and then of course your senior year of 22 to 2023 when you graduate. If you are not physically at the school and in proper uniform with proper ID, you cannot earn hours. We are governed by the state of Michigan. Lara is the one that governs us. All these rules that we're talking about tonight are not my rules. They're not any of the staff rules. They are the state of Michigan rules in order for you to become a licensed cosmetologist. So I want to go back to this. So you need to think about these 71.5 hours as dollars in the bank. You need to be very, very frugal with those. You only receive one deposit of 71.5 hours, and that's got to last you through your graduation of 2023 when you are finished your senior year. There's not an additional deposit the following year. So I just need you to think about that, let that soak in. You got 71.5 hours, spend them wisely. Here's my words of wisdom. Show up every day, do exactly what it is you need to do, and you're going to be just fine. Okay? So We know that you need to be there daily attendance. Remember, every day that you're absent during a summer session, for example, the summer before your junior year, if you were gone that entire day, that's 7 hours that comes out of that bank of 71.5. You just spent $7, if you will. If you were absent on any days during your junior year, that would be deducting 2.5 hours from your bank of 71.5. Again, summer of your senior year, when you go into that, if you miss any summer school, 7 hours would be deducted. And then your senior year, when you're there for our PM and extended day session, if you miss that entire day, that's 5 hours that would be deducted. So it's very, very important that you take a look at it. Now, I know some of this may be difficult to see, but when you look at the totals that we have here, off to the right-hand side, okay, we see these asterisks. There's 3 asterisks on monthly hours earned. You missed the first day of summer, or 1 day of summer school was missed. You missed the first day of school, and then there were 3 days of state testing that were required. So that was 17 hours that were already deducted from your bank. So it's very important that you take a look at that. And in this example, you now have 54.5 hours to complete the summer of your going into your senior year and then your entire senior year. So I cannot emphasize enough, you must be very frugal with your bank of hours because you only have 71.5. Later on, we're going to talk in the presentation because I know the wheels are turning. You're like, well, what happens if we go over? How does that work? What do we do? Mrs. Bielecki is going to cover that here. So I know that's a lot of information to cover with this, but again, Mr. G's words of wisdom, show up every day, do your work, you're going to be just fine. We have students, countless students that make that through this entire 1,500-hour program because we go back to the career tree. They're passionate about what they want to do. The light at the end of the tunnel is 1,500 hours and my cosmetology state board license. That's what I'm going after. I just want to pause here for just a second because I want to put this in perspective to what it's available for you. And maybe Mr. Maddock, we can have some audience participation. Somebody can unmute or you can type in the chat box. I want somebody to guess what it would cost when you go to a private school to get your cosmetology license. Oh, great. We have somebody here, Alyssa, $20,000. Good guess. Somebody said here $60,000. Good. 30,000, 30,000, 40. Great. Oh, I love to hear from the students. Fantastic. You guys are spot on. So let me just give you a little secret here. Thank you for all of those wonderful feedback. You and your parents for this program are saving between $23,000 and $30,000 for this cosmetology license. You know how much you have to pay for it? $0. Everything is covered for you to attend. So again, students and parents, you talk about a return on investment. You come to the program, you're able to get into the program, you will be saving between $23,000 and $30,000. I always like to get that in early in the presentation, and I want to thank all of you for participating in the chat. So that's why it's very important to make sure you use that bank wisely. You want to get to the end of that, and you don't want to have to pay additional fees for that. Thank you for participating. Okay, so when we take a look at piece here, I think I'm going to turn this back over now to Mr. Maddock, and he's going to say what's happening next after you've earned that.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Galbinski. So I think that is really important, saving between $23,000 and $30,000 because again, that state license, no matter if you wait till after high school to earn it or build it right into your high school schedule, the state license is exactly the same. So whether you're earning that through the technical campus or if you choose to wait until after high school and pay a private school that amount, the state board exam is exactly the same. The curriculum is exactly the same. The license is exactly the same. The license doesn't tell you where you went to school. The license tells you that you know the skills and have the knowledge to practice cosmetology. One other thing about the 1,500 hours, I mean, that means that I always use the words near perfect attendance, okay? Mr. Galbinski, I mean, really laid out the importance of attending, but really students need to have near perfect attendance, their 11th grade, their 12th grade, and those summer school sessions. And seniors, it is tough. Staying in school till 4:20 when you've been in school since 7:20 or 7:30 that morning, it is very challenging. But again, keep in mind, you're saving $23,000, $25,000, $27,000, $28,000 by doing that. So you've earned your 1,500 hours. You go take the state board exam. That state board exam consists of two parts. There is a hands-on portion, a practical exam, and there's a written portion, a theory exam. When Mr. Galbinski talked about not costing you anything, we even pay for students to go take their state board exam. So that doesn't even come out of your pocket. We pay for students to take their state board exam for the first time. Once you pass that state board exam, you now are licensed as a cosmetologist, so you can go out and start working in salons as a licensed cosmetologist, immediate employment. However, that license also equates to free college credits at several colleges that have a salon management program. So you see at the bottom of this slide, Schoolcraft College awards 30 credits. That's almost half an associate degree by having that cosmetology license. So they have a salon management program, and they're awarding you half of that associate degree by holding that cosmetology license. Further north, Mott Community College, they award 22 credits for that cosmetology license. That's about a third of their associate degree. And again, these are two schools that have a salon management program where students can combine their cosmetology license with some college courses and get an associate degree, saving even more money. There are some bachelor degree opportunities as well that again, students can pursue with little money out of pocket, because I'm going to use Northwood University, a business school. They have a partnership with Mott for students in that salon management program. So not only are you saving money toward that license, but there are also opportunities to save money in college by earning their cosmetology license. Now, Miss Bielecki, what happens if a student falls short from earning their 1,500 hours?
So if you are short on hours, some of your hours are transferable, and these are the lists of schools that you can transfer your hours to. What you need to remember though is, in order to transfer these hours, you will more than likely have to take a placement test. And the placement test will determine how many hours each one of these schools will take. If the school takes your hours and you are short, let's say 100 hours, you will have to pay hourly for those 100 hours. So for instance, Marquette used to be $9 an hour. So if I was short 100 hours, I would pay 100 more hours at $9 an hour. So it's very beneficial to stay in OTEC and get all of your hours. But if you run into an issue, there is a way out of it, and that is to transfer what you can and go to a transfer school.
Thank you, Ms. Bielecki. There was a
You're
question too regarding the license about transferring that to other states. Since each state has their own licensing agency, this is a license for the state of Michigan, and then states have agreements. It's called reciprocity, is that right?
Yes, it's reciprocity.
Where students that have a license from one state, when they move to another state, those states will work together in determining hours. I do believe Michigan requires more hours than a lot of the other states in the country with that 1,500.
Right, and some states will require a few hours more, and you would just take a class there and transfer your hours there and get those extra hours.
Thank you. So Mr. Galbinski, when will students get started if they get into the program?
So here's how we get started. Summer of 2021. So our summer sessions go Monday through Friday. They're 8 to 3 p.m. You're in session, again, for 7 hours. There's a 30-minute lunch. Students must bring a lunch daily. We are a closed campus at the Northeast campus, meaning once you arrive on campus, you need to stay through the full session there until you depart, okay? We do not have the ability for students to go off campus for lunch. So you just have to bring lunch. It's for those 16 days, and we're closed campus throughout the school year as well. So we have two options. Option A of summer of 2021 would be June 22nd through July 14th. We do not have school on July 5th. And then option B would be July 15th through August 5th. Now, it's very important. Spots are limited and they come on first come, first served basis, all right? You would only be enrolling in either option A or option B. You only attend those sessions because option A is for 16 days, option B is for 16 days, and so you are not able to attend both of those. Now, we are in the midst of a pandemic. We are hoping that our students are back with us sooner rather than later, but we just need to be aware. If cosmetology summer sessions this coming summer, 2021, must be held virtually, all students, again, all students that get into the program will be enrolled in option B, which runs July 15th through August 5th. So parents, students, as you're looking at these summer calendars and you're working with this, previous slide gave you option A and option B, but if we happen to still be virtual, so this is the calendar there. You might want to take a quick photo of that or jot those dates down. This will be is being recorded and will be posted once it's edited, but you're either looking at attending June 22nd to July 14th or July 15th to August 5th. Those are what the options would be. We're hoping that that's what we're running on. If for some reason we're not and we're not able to, then everybody would be virtually and we would all be together July 15th through August 5th. Okay, those are the summer sessions. I'm going to turn this back over to Mr. Maddock.
So up until this point, we've been talking a lot about hours. Magic number, 1,500. That number you're going to hear over and over and over again because that's the number of hours needed to sit for your state board, the number of hours that you need to get licensed. However, we're still a school, okay? You're still earning credits toward your high school diploma at the same time. So there's always two buckets. There's a credit bucket. You're earning credits that are still counting toward your high school diploma. There's also the hours bucket, the hours that you're accumulating for your state board exam. And those two buckets are a little bit different. So if we're going to change and start talking about credits now. Very first slide, Mr. Galbinski mentioned we're an extension of your high school. So your high school will build this into your regular schedule. And one of the academic credits that you can fulfill through cosmetology is a science credit, okay? It fulfills the third science requirement that the state of Michigan requires for high school graduation. So you are still going to need to take biology back at your high school. You are still going to need to take chemistry, physics, anatomy and physiology, whatever your high school requires as your second requirement. This will fulfill your third credit in science. On the theory part of the state board exam, there's a lot of science concepts that are tested. So again, a lot of students come into cosmetology thinking they're just going to go to work on someone's head and be doing a cut, a color, a style. There's a lot of science that goes into cosmetology. During the senior year, okay, every student is required to have a math-related course during their senior year. Cosmetology does fulfill that requirement. Now, you still need to have Algebra 1 back at your high school. You need to have geometry back at your high school. You still need to complete the requirement for Algebra 2. But then again, your senior year, cosmetology can count as your fourth related math requirement, again, during the senior year. The state of Michigan has also allowed some flexibility for students that participate in programs like cosmetology. So for students that don't come to the technical campus, students need to have 2 years of a world language, 2 years of Spanish, 2 years of French, 2 years of German, 2 years of a world language. Students that come to the technical campus, the state has allowed some flexibility where you only need to earn one of those credits back at your high school, and then you can use cosmetology or one of our other programs to exchange out that other world language requirement, okay? So you're not getting an extra credit, you're exchanging that credit by participating in cosmetology or one of our other programs. Some schools do allow students to do the same thing for Algebra 2. There is an exchange option that students can work through, again, where instead of taking a full Algebra 2 class, they can utilize cosmetology or one of our other programs to exchange out the full credit of Algebra 2. Now, we always say just because that can occur doesn't necessarily mean that it should, because if you are looking to go on to one of those colleges, colleges are going to want to see an actual Algebra 2 course on your transcript. They might want to see 2 years of a world language on your transcript. But if you already know that you're going to get that license and strictly go out and start working in a salon, these are a couple of ways to be flexible with your graduation requirement. Couple other things that cosmetology fulfills: VPAA, Visual Performing and Applied Art requirement, and the online learning experience. However, I know all of you students are doing plenty of stuff online right now, so everyone's already got that and taken care of. But there are these are some different avenues that students can fulfill their graduation requirements through cosmetology.
Mr. Maddock, could you address, while we're on that one there was a couple in the chat that came through about the actual Algebra 2 class. Can you explain that? Students had heard that that could happen at the campus.
Yep. So students know that when they're at their high school taking Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, they're in that class every single day, working out of their textbook with a math teacher, getting graded, and doing homework, quizzes, tests, and exams, okay? That's how you earn a grade for Algebra 2. Students that want to utilize the exchange option, they still are required to do some Algebra 2 work through the technical campus. However, students are not earning a grade. They're not earning credit for Algebra 2. they're doing enough Algebra 2 to be exposed to some of those concepts that they'll see on the SAT test, but they're not doing nearly enough to grant a grade or credit for Algebra 2. So that's the exchange option. Students will still be doing some work through the technical campus, but it's just exposing those students to the Algebra 2 concepts that are covered on the SAT test. And again, they're not earning a grade, they're not earning credit for Algebra 2.
Thank you, Mr. Maddock. And one final piece, there was a question, somebody had to take Algebra 2A. How would that happen?
Yeah, so a lot of schools, a lot of students, they take Algebra 2 over 2 years. They'll take the first half, the 11th grade, and then they'll take the second half during 12th grade. You'll still be able to complete Algebra 2 then through your high school if you're on the 2-year schedule for Algebra 2. Or once in a while, counselors will work with students and allow students to finish their Algebra 2 through the technical campus. But those are all questions that you'll work with your high school counselor on when you're picking your classes and doing your schedule for the next 2 years.
Thanks, Mr. Maddock.
And I'm going to toss the microphone over to Miss Heath now and talk about Skills USA.
This group sounds so awesome. Honestly, they're cracking me up. There's a United Career and Technical Student Organization called Skills USA, and we participated in it every year. This organization serves over 400,000 middle school, high school, and college students, and we have a lot of fun competing in this. There's it's just a $14 annual membership. I think that is probably the only thing you'll ever have to pay for in our program. There's a lot of leadership opportunities, so we compete in hair, makeup, nails, and there's also things like job interviewing and job skill demo, so it's not just those three, hair, makeup, or nails. It's a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of Skills USA. There's different levels of competition. So we start out at the regional level where we compete with local schools. We usually host that at our building. And then the winners from there will move on to states, and we'll go away for a weekend. It's usually in Grand Rapids, and compete against other areas there. And then whoever wins from those categories goes on to nationals, and then there's also a world competition. We go with all of the different programs in our building, and the students make a lot of friends. We have just a ton of fun. This is, the next couple pictures. Well, this slide is, there's a couple of our former students in here who have won state championships. Jenny, we nicknamed her Jenny from the block with the blue hair here. She went on to nationals, and I believe she placed 7th in nationals for aesthetics. There's Jenny from the block again. She's actually on our advisory board now. She's done great things. She's a really good stylist in the area. And this is just, I think this was the work she did at this state championship. And then we also have a career night at our school, and our program hosts, they do a competition amongst ourselves. And that last picture was, I think the theme that year was Motown, and she did a Michael Jackson look-alike. So they get in teams of 3, and one of the girls is the model, one of the students does the makeup, and one of the students does the hair. And yeah, this was Michael Jackson. Here's some more of their artwork.
I always like to point out on these pictures, Miss Heath, that these students' eyes are actually closed.
I know. I don't know. The one on the right always creeps me out for some reason, but it's just amazing. The work is amazing. They're so talented.
So that artwork is actually on the student's eyelid.
Eyelids, yes. This was from a career night. These are actual current students of ours right now. They were juniors at the time. They're seniors now. One of the students is doing the makeup, and then you can see another one's doing the hair, and the girls in the background, that's our salon actually. The girls in the background that are overlooking are just onlookers coming to check out our department. These are also current students. They were juniors at the time, and now they're seniors. And this is Kennedy. She actually just, she graduated this year. She just passed her state board test, so she's a licensed cosmetologist, and she was the Grinch this year. It was cute. It's another picture of them. This was the beginning of the competition. These are, again, current students that we have right now.
We're going to throw this one over to Mrs. Bielecki. Mrs. B.
All right.
Hi again, guys. So your student registration fee and your background check is LARA. That is the state of Michigan. And that is a registration fee also for the state. The state board exam goes through PSI and it's $167. Oakland Schools does pay for this. The only thing you need to do is make sure you get a 70% or better on all of your tests. So, and then we will pay for this. The optional expenses are a smock. Everyone has to wear a smock. That is a state board rule. You are supplied with a smock, but if you'd like to have your own, they're $30. Like Ms. Heath said, the Skills USA fee is $14. And there is an optional state board kit that you do not have to buy, but it has some really cool stuff in it. Last year's kit was $500, and they have some really cool shears in there. And you get your own flat iron, blow dryer. They're real cool kits, and they come with everything you need for state board. The 2021 kit may be higher, and that price is to be determined.
And like Ms. B said, these are optional. We have kits that we loan to students when they graduate from high school and graduate from our program. When they do go take their state board exam, we actually have kits that we loan to those students so they can go take their state board exam without having to spend this money. However, if they are looking to then go into a salon, they are going to need their own equipment to begin working. But to get through the program as a high school student and actually take state board exams, again, these costs are all optional. So what I want to do is just start talking a little bit about next steps. You guys have been with us now for about 45 or 50 minutes. Spent a lot of time talking about the program. The one thing that we normally talk about at the beginning of the session when we're holding this in person is Mr. Galbinski mentioned that cosmetology is available for all of Oakland County residents. We work with all the area high schools. Well, we enroll 80 students a year into cosmetology, okay? So let's think about that number for just a minute. We enroll 80 students. There have been years where we have students from about 40 different high schools from across Oakland County, okay? So if we have students from 40 different high schools and we can only enroll 80 students, that means that each high school, some years, are only able to get 2 students into the program, okay? Attending this session tonight is one way to move up that list of possibly getting enrolled. That's one reason that we want students to sign in on that Google Doc that Mr. Galbinski has placed in the chat room. That's how we keep track of the students that have been here. The next thing is to go on our website and complete the online application. Completing the application does not mean you're going to get into the program. That simply is going to let us know at the technical campus that you're interested. A copy of this will also go to your high school counselor. As soon as you submit it, your high school counselor will know that you're also interested. And then the school, your high school, the technical campus, and you as the student will start working through the actual enrollment process, okay? So I know I recognized a lot of the names tonight. I know that you've already gone in and have applied, but if you haven't done that yet, I would recommend going to the website, OSTC-online.com. You'll scroll down to the bottom of the page. You'll see a big rectangle that it says apply for 21-22 school year. You'll click on that big blue box, apply now, and then it will take you through step by step on completing the requirements to apply for the cosmetology program. Now, maybe you learned tonight that cosmetology isn't for you. Maybe you're thinking about some other program now. So again, we've got 2 more of these virtual career nights coming up. One on December 3rd, construction, machining, and welding. The next one after that will be December 10th, culinary arts and hospitality, or the entrepreneurship advanced marketing. When you complete the online application, it's going to have you select a first choice program and a second choice. So a very popular second choice is the entrepreneurship advanced marketing program, because a lot of our cosmetology students are thinking about owning their own salon, managing a salon, marketing for a salon, or again, we've got students that work for different stores in makeup as far as marketing, the business side of things. So again, you're invited to come back on December 3rd or December 10th and join us for another career night. But like I said, it's very important to start working with your high school counselor. We enroll 80 students every year. Sometimes 40, 41, 42 different high schools are represented. Not all districts send a bus over to Pontiac. I know there was a question earlier in the chat about bus transportation. This is an elective program, so schools are not required to send a bus to the technical campus. If you're lucky enough where the Northeast campus is the campus that your high school sends students for all the other programs, those being Avondale, Lake Orion, Oxford, Pontiac, and Rochester, those districts send a bus to our building every day because they have other students going to our different programs. But if you're outside of that quadrant, okay, you're going to want to ask your counselor about a bus. I can tell you that there's no buses that come from the southwest quadrant, Huron Valley, whether you're Lakeland or Milford, Walled Lake, Novi. Those schools require you to get to the technical campus yourself. If you're attending a high school in the northwest part, Holly, Brandon, Clarkston, Waterford, those schools do not send a bus to Pontiac because, again, it's an elective program, so you would be responsible for your own transportation, okay? I know some of you are on tonight from Ferndale. Ferndale's very supportive of the cosmetology program, and they do help students get to the program during the first year of the program, during that AM session. But again, that would be something to start talking to your high school counselor about. For those of you parents that are online with us tonight, oftentimes this is the night where that heart-to-heart conversation has to take place, that you just don't have an extra vehicle to get your students over to Pontiac those 2 years. We realize these are very young drivers, so a lot of parents just aren't comfortable setting their students free, again, as a very young driver. So again, that's the conversation that has to take place there at home tonight. Again, completing that online application as soon as possible. Students will find out if they get into the program probably late February, early March. That's when you'll be picking your classes at your high school. And again, by then, we will know the students that have gotten into the program, and then there will be a couple evening events during April and May for our new incoming students. But again, the most important thing right now is to complete that online application at OSTC-online.com. And then maybe tomorrow, I know most schools are remote right now, maybe request a Zoom with your high school counselor, send them an email. I know a lot of them have Google Docs that where they're able to make an appointment, but start letting your counselor know that you are here with us tonight and how badly you want to get into this program for next year. Lastly, like Mr. Galbinski mentioned when we first started, this is my email address, my direct phone number. And then again, as our principal, as our dean, Mr. Galbinski's email and phone number. We truly are here to help. We want to answer your questions. We want to work with you. I've been seeing a lot of the things in the chat room, and I know our teachers have been chatting with you, where they're already excited and have said that it's already an energetic, good group of students here tonight. But again, feel free to email us any questions or anything that maybe we didn't answer this evening. I am seeing some things right now. We've got some current freshmen. And again, it's not too early to start planning. Yes, you probably will not get into the program next year. However, working with your high school counselor right now and laying out your 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year is very important, because cosmetology is going to take up a large block of your classes during 11th and 12th grade years. So again, you can still fill out the application, but realize if you're in 9th grade right now, you probably won't get in yet for next year. Mr. Galbinski, I'll turn things back over to you as we look at some of the questions here in the chat.
Thank you, Mr. Maddock. A couple of things as we go through. If you do have questions, we're now at our Q&A session. So if you do have questions, you can put them in the chat. I know Mr. Maddock's going to scroll through and work with some of those. And this is now our time for parents, students to ask those questions that you may have. And that's exactly what our information night's about, and our virtual career night regarding cosmetology. We gave you a ton of information. You guys, amazing, and some good things coming through from your questions. So when you take a look at some of these coming through here, Mr. Maddock, I think he's going to answer some of the questions that have come up, and then we'll continue to answer those that are in our chat.
So I see one: if students don't get into our program as a high school students, are there any other programs offered if parents want to pay? Maybe I can ask one of our teachers, do any of the private beauty schools accept high school students if parents are willing to pay that? Or do you need to have graduated from high school before getting into one of the private schools?
You just have to be, I believe you have to be 17. 16 or 17.
Now, we work very hard at getting as many students into the program as possible. Even though students may start out on a waiting list, every year for the past 5 or 6 years, students that even started out on the waiting list eventually got in. Sometimes it's right before summer school starts that we find out that we're able to get another student in. So what I would say is, don't get discouraged, and maybe have a second program built into your schedule. Like I said, culinary, entrepreneurship, advanced marketing, one of our other programs, where then if an opening comes up, you're already at the campus, where then we could just switch you programs.
There's a question, is cosmetology only offered in Pontiac campus? Yes, that's correct. Of the 4 campuses that I shared with you at the very beginning, the Pontiac campus is the only campus that does offer this. It's a regional program. Next, some people had talked about acceptance. Is it on GPA, other factors? It'll be working very closely, as Mr. Maddox said, first and foremost, for those of you that are 10th graders right now and are interested in the program and then would be with us your junior and senior year. Tonight's the night, tomorrow's the day to log on to OSTC-online.com and then click on the apply and fill that information out. Mr. Maddox got it up there on the screen here for you. The other factors is, it's, Mr. Maddox said, near perfect attendance. So if you're working with your counselor and attendance has not been at that level that it needs to be, something would need to change, because obviously students that are given these slots in order to complete, you must be there every day. Of course, you have 71.5 hours. You know, some people get sick, things happen, but you have to be near perfect, as Mr. Maddox had said in there. Some people were asking about, do you need certain scores in math and science to get in? As long as you're on track for graduation, that's critical. You can't be 2-3 classes behind graduation track and then try to get into the program. So when we look at that, are you on track to graduate? Is there, obviously, have you applied to the program? Have you shown an interest in there? Do you have good attendance? Those are the elements that it's going to come down to, as Mr. Maddox said. Your home school will be determining those students that are going to get into the program.
Again, one of the things that we look at is who attended tonight's event. Okay, which again, we go back to that Google Doc that's been in the chat room and make sure that you filled that out, because again, you've learned a lot about the program, so you're given a priority over people that weren't here tonight. You get points for that. There'll be a question on your application asking you, why do you want to get into the cosmetology program? We look at those responses. And again, sometimes students maybe are already working in a salon as behind the desk, and they want to earn their license to become a stylist. Maybe family has a business, but we do look at those responses on the application in determining that. Again, it's very important to pass all of your classes during 9th and 10th grade year. If you're getting behind in your required credits, then it may not be possible for you to get in. So even when you're in a class that you don't like, it's still very important that you at least earn credit in that, so you're on track for graduation.
Mr. Maddox, could you handle a couple technical questions? I have a student that indicated wanted to apply for culinary as their second choice, but accidentally pressed a different second choice. How do we work through that?
Yep, so if I put my email back up here on the screen, so if you've already submitted your application, just email me and I can go in and change your second choice, okay? So if you just email me at my email address, I can go in and change that second choice to reflect what you want it to be.
Also, a student asked if we made an account but forgot our login, can we make another account?
So again, if you email me, I can let you know what your username is. I have access to your username, and then you can just reset your password by clicking on Forgot Password. But I can let you know what your username was when you initially applied.
Academic question for you, Mr. Maddock. What happens if you haven't taken chemistry yet?
So yeah, the science and cosmetology does not fulfill the chemistry requirement. So you would still be taking chemistry at your high school. And again, it could be any year during high school, but it would be at some point there in your high school, maybe during 11th or 12th grade.
We have a sport question. A student plays a sport in their senior year. Is it possible to complete their 1,500 hours?
So we have had athletes before. If it's just one season, that's a little bit more doable. And a lot of times, cosmetology students might work things out with their coach, where instead of staying till 4:20, maybe they leave at 3 o'clock from cosmetology, where they're still logging some hours. Again, taking advantage of as many opportunities as possible where extra hours could be awarded. And again, perfect attendance. I mean, if it's a spring sport and you've had perfect attendance right up until that spring, and you've taken advantage of some opportunities to earn some extra hours, which there are sometimes those opportunities, then maybe working it out with your coach that maybe you're losing an hour a day from cosmetology during that spring sport. We definitely want to work with the athletes. Unfortunately, if you're a 3-sport athlete, your senior year, you will not be able to finish cosmetology. Again, just because of the number of hours that are required, if you're having to leave early every single day, your senior year, you won't finish. But if it is just a one-season after-school event, we have had students before that have still been able to finish the program and go on and get their state license.
We have a question, Mr. Maddock, applying to the program selection section, and I only want cosmetology, but it's saying to choose 2.
So on that second choice, if you look right at the top, it says no second choice. So you can actually select no second choice. It's either right at the way top or at the very bottom, but there is an option that says no second choice.
So there were some concerns with some medical issues. Maybe you have a lot of doctor's appointments throughout the entire year. That would be a case-by-case basis. Your homeschool counselor would work with Mr. Maddock, and we would have to take a look at those. Again, when we are looking at those 1,500 hours, that is not something that any of us that have shared tonight with you control. That is controlled by Laura, and those 1,500 hours need to be met so that you would be able to finish the program through here. Now, again, Mrs. Bielecki did talk about the possibility of transferring, so some hours could move through, but that would be on an individual basis with regarding to any medical reasons. Someone asked if you applied and you were accepted and didn't you like it, would you be able to drop out or do you have to finish the year? How could you handle that, Mr. Maddock?
Yeah, so I mean, that's one reason that we hold these events. When there's only 80 students that get into the program, if you get into the program and then find out in September or October you don't like it and drop out, you've prevented someone else from getting into the program that might have really wanted to get in. So again, you really need to think about the commitment that it takes. Near perfect attendance, 2 summer school sessions, your senior year, staying in school till 4:20 in the afternoon. If you're willing to make those commitments, that's telling us that, that you really want to be in the program. If you're already waffling a little bit, like, oh, staying in school till 4:20, this may not be the program for you. And you could maybe do one of our other ones and wait till to do cosmetology after you graduate, after you're a little bit more firm on your post-secondary goals.
There was a question, is it 5 days a week during the school year as well? Yes, summer school's 5 days a week, and regular school year, 5 days a week as well. Link to the presentation, this will be edited, it'll be back up on our website. So you'll be able to reference it there. It's going to take a little bit, but we will have that available. If you will not achieve 1,500 hours if you don't attend 11/20 to 4/20 in your senior year, oh, I'm sorry, that's Ms. Heath. That's correct. You've got to attend during that extended day. I think this was covered, but maybe you want to just cover it again. If you take the COS exam and you pass it, can you use your license in other states? It would then determine on what that state required for your license. Okay, I know Ms. Heath and the teachers are trying to ask
Yeah,
these
I
questions.
answered that one privately.
Great. Okay. I'm just trying to go through here.
You'll have access to all of these slides, you guys.
Yep, it'll be posted. It'll be posted on our website. This presentation will be edited, and then it will be up on our website for you to then reference the entire presentation and the slides and the Q&A. So it looks like, I think I went through here. Are there any questions in the chat, or is there somebody that would like to unmute and ask any questions?
There's a question, will there be some sort of Schoology page or Google Classroom? If it's virtual, then yes. The answer is yes.
Great point. I don't know that I saw some earlier. Last summer, we taught our entire program virtually. People will say, well, how do you do that? We send the kids home. You have a mannequin, you have your combs, you have your rollers. Your instructors teach you virtually. You have to do the various tasks that are assigned to you, take a picture of it, do it live, do a video of it, and then the instructors grade it, provide feedback for you. We did that for the current juniors that attended this past summer, and we have been currently online since the start of school in September. And again, we have to have the rigor that's in there because we are inspected. We have state inspections by Lara, and the state comes in. And so, yes, you would be doing these things virtually at home, and we would be providing you with that information. Well, I'm sorry, information, those materials, so that you are able to work on a mannequin from home.
Again, just a couple of things. How soon will we hear back if we got in after applying? So it won't be until the end of February, beginning of March, when you will get a letter from us congratulating you on being accepted. But again, I know that's a long ways out. We're in November, so we got all of December, all of January, February. But that will give you plenty of time to work with your high school counselor. Again, as soon as you submit your application, they will also have a copy of that application, so we'll know that you are interested. But you won't hear from us regarding whether you got in or not until end of February, beginning of March.
Yeah, a quick question. As far as the junior year, you have a 7:45 to 10:15 slot, and then 11:20 to 1:50. What determines if you're in? I don't think you were clear on the AM or PM option or later option.
Yep, good question. So as we said, we enroll 80 students a year. 60 of those students will be in the morning session. We only have one group in the afternoon, and that afternoon group is limited to schools that are further away than local. So Milford, I mean, if a student's over in Milford, it takes them half a day pretty much to drive to Pontiac on a daily basis. So so Milford, Novi, a lot of the schools that are further away, we'll get into that PM session. Once in a while, a student is in a particular class, maybe a certain level of band or choir that's only offered in the morning. And then the high school counselor specifically has to request for that student to be in the afternoon. But our morning class, every single kid in the morning class is a first-year student, okay? In the afternoon, there's only 20 first-year students, and then all the other students are second year. So, so again, that afternoon class is limited to strictly students with extenuating circumstances where they can't be in Pontiac by 7:45 a.m.
Mr. Maddox, someone else about Walled Lake Western?
Once in a while, we'll have a Walled Lake student in the morning, depending on where they live in the district. But that would get worked out with the counselor there at Walled Lake.
Our Lady of Lakes?
Yeah, so it's been a couple of years since we've had a student from Lakes. But again, when we have students from Our Lady of Lakes, we'll work around your daily mass schedule, which I know used to be in the morning. So the students from Our Lady of Lakes would come in the afternoon, or if mass has changed, we'd work around that.
Southfield?
Southfield would be in the morning.
And then there's a question, how do you find out if your district offers busing to the
Well,
local?
that would be a question that you would ask your counselor at your high school. They would be able to tell you if the district does come up to Pontiac or not. Again, keep in mind, some of these schools send buses to those other 3 campuses because students are attending all the other programs. So, so that would be a question that you would have to ask your high school counselor.
Ferndale?
Ferndale's been very supportive. They have sent a bus in the mornings for the last few years, yes.
If you have a situation where you can't attend the AM session, can you attend the PM session instead?
Yeah, so so you would work with your high school counselor on that, and when they let us know about your schedule, we would try to accommodate that.
Question on Oxford. Oxford, based off previous experiences, is it morning or afternoon?
Yeah, so Oxford High School students, they attend the morning. So students at Oxford High School will get bused in the morning, but then your senior year, Oxford will expect you to provide your own transportation because again, you'd be in school until 4:20.
Great. I don't see anything else in the chat at this time. I know Mr. Maddock has that information up there. If you haven't jotted it down, take a screenshot of it. We've still got several people with us. Are there other questions that people may have?
One of the questions there, what will it say when you apply? So when you get to the very end of the online application, after you click submit, okay, you got to make sure and click submit on that very last screen of the application, and then you'll get a message that says, you've taken the first step in applying for the technical campus. Your application will be under review, and you will also get an email to the email address that you used. But again, make sure you click submit on that very last page of the application.
We had a question asking where will it be published? It will be on our OSTConline.com website is where this presentation will be published, most likely under the admissions tab.
So I have one question just concerning specifically Walled Lake Western student coming from Wixom, because Walled Lake Western or Walled Lake Schools is such a huge district. Specifically, if she's coming from Western and from Wixom, would she be an afternoon student?
So we've had both students. That would be something she'd work with her high school counselor on.
Okay. I know that he said something, we talked to him recently and he said something about that, but I didn't know if there was a guarantee. That's all the reason why I asked.
That one's, there's no guarantee. Most of the time our Walled Lake students have been in the afternoon, but since Walled Lake requires their students to drive, there have been students, especially from Western, based on their high school schedule, they've come over during our AM session. They get done at 10:15 and then they're back for their afternoon classes.
The question, is it possible to attend the program as a sophomore? Our programs are geared for, I'll let Mr. Maddock answer that one.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not impossible, but it's probably not probable. Because we only enroll 80 students a year, and it is a very popular program, the only one in the county. The students that are going to get priority are the current 10th graders going into their 11th grade year. If we get through all those and there's still openings, that's why I said it'd still be good to complete the application, because then we could at least reach out and see if it was possible.
There was a question about being in the PM. Is that bad? Nope, no difference between AM and PM. It's just the time of the day. You would be a junior with those juniors in the PM session, as Mr. Maddock indicated, based on distance and their schedule. So the same curriculum is taught AM and PM. It's just a matter of the time of the day. Just no different that if some of your friends at your home school have Algebra 2 first hour and some people have Algebra 2 sixth hour. So that doesn't matter, the difference between the AM PM in terms of content. It is just based on time of day. So I don't see any more in the chat. We'll stay around here. We do have still several people that are here. We want to thank all of you for being with us tonight for our career night and our cosmetology version of career night. Certainly reaching out to Mr. Maddock, myself, we'll be happy to help you with any of those. But I want to thank our teachers for sharing their expertise. I want to thank all of the parents. I want to thank all of the students for making tonight very informative for everyone, very fun, great questions, great group of people, and we hope that we get to see you here on campus. Again, want to thank all of you for sharing your evening with us. Hopefully it was informative. Last note, if you haven't already, please make sure you complete the link in the chat for the Google Doc, and we wish that you continue to be well and stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you on campus.